What is up, everybody? It's another Monday evening, so you know what time it is. It's time for the JNS Philadelphia Sports Stop. As always, I'm your host, as always, Stephen Rychel, and the man to the right of me is Mr. Justin Fiorillio. Justin, appreciate the time, brother. We got a lot of stuff to dissect, break down, and kind of get right into this thing. But first, obviously, it's Groundhog Day. Yesterday, and Punxsutawney Phil's seen these shadows 6 more weeks. But not only that, Jerry Jones saw a shadow today, so that's 6 more seasons without playoff for the Dallas Cowboys. I had to throw that in there.
Steve, you're being way too generous. Six more seasons. How about we go like 60? How's that sound? Or the Cowboys do anything?
I don't know if it's going to be 60 seasons, 6 seasons, 6 generations. As long as Jerry Jones is there, they're not going to do anything of significance.
Forget seeing his damn shadow. Jerry Jones just wants to see the Cowboys make a conference championship appearance. I mean, shit.
Yeah, man, and it is rough for Dallas fans. We like to poke fun at them. We like to hit them with a little nonsense from time to time. But I mean, it's all in good fun for the most part. So we just kind of enjoy. Yeah, what we can with them, and kind of move on, because it is kind of bad. I think the only fan base that has it worse than the Cowboys fans right now is one New York Jets team.
I was going to say probably New York Jets. Yeah,
I mean, it's really bad for them, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's so true. But they have I'm going to give you one. How about the Bills? Because at least the Jets have a Super Bowl. I mean, the Bills don't have one. So, I mean, all the heartbreak. I know they win and they get to these conference championships every once in a while, but, man, they just can't they can't, just finish the job. So it's like,
yeah, it's
like if you're a Bills fan, dude, you watch your team go to 4 straight Super Bowls and lose every damn one. I mean, that's pretty heartbreaking.
And they had a great core. When we're talking about that, they had one of the better, triplets. I mean, you had Jim Kelly, you had Thurman Thomas, you had Andre Reed, you had James Lofton. They had a nice little setup, and they had one of the best defensive fronts that we've seen in quite some time. So it's
yeah, dude, they were like one of the greatest teams, maybe top 2, 3 top team of the 90s. They just didn't win the Super Bowl. They're a loaded team, man. Those Bills teams were epic. But yeah, man. Hey. Speaking of Super Bowl, it's coming up soon, guys. Coming up here.
Yeah, we got another week or so to go.
Yeah.
Actually, less than a week now. We're in Monday, so it would be just inside a week. This time next week, we will see who will be the new reigning Super Bowl champions.
Right. This is our last week, guys. Enjoy it. Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, it's us Eagles fan. It is our last week as being the defending world champions, and all good things must come to an end from time to time, and that's what it is sometimes, So
yeah.
Now, obviously, I want to get into one thing. Obviously, obviously we got our offensive coordinator, we got our pass game coordinator, and then everyone's running their mouth about some of these fans are just don't appreciate what we've had in this century and a half of under Jeffrey Lurie, and I think they need to be reminded of what most of us Eagles fans had to deal with in Rich Kotite, because he is without a doubt the worst offensive coordinator. Then just gets pushed into the head coaching position when Buddy Ryan just completely came apart here in Philadelphia. So as much as you guys want to criticize Manning and all that, Mannion and the other hire from
Manning, we just got Peyton Manning. Yes.
No, but I mean, I love Brian Cameron's breakdown of this of Sean Mannion and Josh Gizzard are perfectly blend for what our offense and Jalen Hurts needed. Manning is a quarterback focus, sequencing, coverage ID, footwork, timing, pre-snap answers, which we didn't have any of this past season. And Grizzard is a structural flow, will incorporate motion, space, and formation stress. Clean pitchers, so we're not having guys running things on top of each other, running into each other on the field. I think both of those guys help with both of our situations, with what AJ Brown has been frustrated with the past few seasons, with making sure that Jalen continues to progress and hits that next plateau, like we've seen him each of the past handful of seasons. So, what are your thoughts on John and Sean being brought in there as the OC and the pass game coordinator?
Well, I thought the pass game coordinator, Grizzard, was supposed to be our offensive coordinator, right? Like, they both were supposed to be our offensive coordinator. Now we have both somehow on the team. So, like, Eagle fans saw the names being floated in the reports, both of them, and then we finally get, like, we get both of them. So it's like we just assume it's going to be great. And listen, I'm not going to go so far as to say great, but I think it's going to be pretty good. I think we're going to be a lot better, obviously, than we were this year. And I think from what that picture you just posted, Steve, pretty encouraged to hear those things. We need those things right now in the offense. And look, I want more complex routes. I want better protection of Jalen Hurts. I want Jalen Hurts running a little bit more. Nothing crazy, just a little bit more to the outside too. And just those changes sound great. I think look, on a scale of like an A to an F, I give the hires a solid, probably like a B plus.
Look, I mean, everyone was, Mannion came from Green Bay. He's never called plays. He's never done this. He's never done that. All right. Well, what about, isn't that the same thing y'all guys said about Nick Sirianni, right? I think he's doing a pretty good job. Obviously, he's not going to be the greatest. It wasn't the greatest play caller in the world. He's not an offensive mind, but he gets this team up like some guys that don't have. And we talk about those X factors and things like that. So you have to sit there and just be like, hey, and take a look at some of these other things going on around that. You just can't ignore that there's other intangibles. You don't always have to go with the sexy name. You don't always have to go with the proven guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you talked about this. You don't need to you need the guy that's going to be here a few years. Yeah. You don't need the guy that's going to have, a great run with us next year, having, AJ back on track, Devontae Smith back on track, Saquon Barkley's doing his thing and stuff like that.
Yep.
To have him leave in the offseason. He's what? I think he's 33 years old. So you're gonna have a few years to be able to have this guy here, which is one of the things I was beating on the drum about. Nick Foles actually was in St. Louis when Sean was drafted, and he's he just was glowing about how amazing this guy was, just being a rookie quarterback and how him in the quarterback room, how he felt like, it's just like he had another coach behind him getting ready to try to take his job, right?
Yeah, right. And Steve, I got to say something. I know Mannion never called plays like officially, but one thing I do like about Mannion that I don't believe Patullo ever did was play football at the NFL level, correct? So it's like, I think that's important. That's very important to put it to note that he's been out there in the trenches literally and played football. So, I know he's a backup.
He's not, he wasn't a starter, didn't get a whole lot of playing time, but a lot of time those are guys that wind up being the best coaches.
Right. That's why that's why I was saying Nick Foles. I know we laugh at it and stuff, but hey,
I think it's gonna within the next 5 years, Nick Foles will be coaching somewhere.
I thought he was coaching like his high school team, like his kids.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like at a like either collegiate level or in the NFL at some point in time in the next 5 years, I guarantee it. Just by how the way he talks about things, I think he's waiting for some of his kids to kind of get old enough where he doesn't feel as bad like not being there as a father.
Yeah,
that's probably when we'll see him kind of take those steps to do that.
Yeah,
but now obviously. What we were talking about with Jalen Hurts, he needs the stability. He needs this, and we're breaking it down, and this is just his pro level. we already know what it is. The past 11 seasons, he's had 11 different offensive coordinators.
Yep.
I think this is a very, very, very important hire for him. I think that when they all kind of I think what they need to be doing right now is, as soon as Jalen comes back from the Pro Bowl and everything like that, have him, AJ, Sean, John, Nick sit down and come and find what's going to work, what's going to make everyone happy, and what's going to get them back to the Super Bowl. I think they will do that, and I think that the Eagles fans will be happy with this. I know some of them are just like, you see some of these fans, they were like, oh, well, there goes all my Jim Bob Cooter jokes.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
I'm perfectly fine with having Mannion and Grizzard there. I mean, you can make some Grizzard jokes. I think you can.
Give me damn it, I don't want to take up too much time on the show, but give me some time. I'll come up with some damn Grizzard jokes. I'll think of something.
We'll get there. We'll get there, right? And look, I think it's fun. I think it's going to be an interesting offseason. We're going to see what direction they take. How do they retool and get ready for another potential January, February run?
Yeah.
Like we've seen each of the last every other years. Go to the Super Bowl in 22. 23 was a rough year. Following season you win the Super Bowl. 25 it's another first round exit. I mean, if we get another Super Bowl berth out of it in the following year, I mean, I don't know which Eagles fan would be upset making a Super Bowl run every other year.
Yeah. Well, if we freaking win the Super Bowl this coming season and then just take off the next season because we already know we're going to get bounced in the first round, for pretty much, right? I mean,
no, man, we need to break that tradition. I don't even care if it's divisional round, championship round, whatever. Just you can't be getting outed in the first round. That just cannot happen. Not for the caliber team you have, not for the amount of money that they have into this team. Yeah. I think the real interesting thing is what do you do with the offensive line? Because we talked about it a few weeks ago with Jeff Stoutland, and he is no longer going to be the run game coordinator next season. I don't know if that's a Sean Mannion thing. I don't know if that's a Nick Sirianni call, whatever. I think that we do need to keep him concentrated on getting that offensive line back to the way it was playing the year before. I don't know if it was a distraction. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but we'll see what happened. I think the biggest surprise of the last week was hearing that the front office had to talk Vic Fangio out of retirement, because that's what was the surprising news that Adam Schefter was talking about. I still believe that we're going to hear some type of announcement, either renovation or a new stadium for the Eagles by 2032. That I think that announcement is coming this offseason, considering that questionnaire went out to season ticket holders about this time last year. So
unless all the season ticket holders voted no, then they sent back.
I think a lot of them would rather the renovation, but I think they've been, from what I've heard from some of the other media members and people that are close to the situation, saying that Eagles have been involved in acquiring property around Lincoln Financial Field. I wouldn't be surprised if they work out some deal where they leave Lincoln Financial Field for the Temple Owls, that be their official home. Rename it the Owls Den, whatever you're going to do. And they want to build another state-of-the-art stadium. And basically, Jeffrey Lurie has them run out Lincoln Financial Field, and he does whatever he wants to or whatever he has to with that. I would love to see another state-of-the-art stadium. You got to think about it. It's, most stadiums are there for, 20, 30 years before either they go to a new home, they move, etc. If he is able to keep them down there in South Philly in that general area and be able to kind of build another stadium, man, that might be like next level awesome. And you also, at some point in time over the next 6 years, or so, you'll get a new home for the Birds. I mean, it's going to be hard for a lot of us who, we've seen a lot of great memories in Lincoln Financial Field.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people felt the same way when the vet was getting torn down. The vet was a toilet bowl, man. Let's be honest.
Quite literally sometimes.
Yeah, so like I mean, I was talking to
I mean?
Tommy Green. He was talking about seeing some animals run by him. He wasn't sure if it was a dog or a large rat or whatever. So, I mean, everyone has a horror story about Lincoln Financial Field, about Veterans Stadium.
I think both, to be honest. But go ahead.
I mean, we have horror stories with Lincoln Financial Field with some of those early losses. That
my last time I was there, Steve, we saw my team got bounced from the fucking. Excuse me, playoffs.
he's trying to keep his Philadelphia in him, folks. That's what it is right there.
Excuse me.
I mean, listen, I hope that is the big change announcement. I do hope that there is no retirement. I don't want to see Lane Johnson retire. I don't want to see Vic Fangio walk away, because trying to replace Vic Fangio at this point in the game would be damn near impossible.
Yeah.
If this is Vic's swan song here in Philadelphia, that would also be heartbreaking too. I would like to see him at least coach 2 more years. At least I know Vic has been around the game sometime. Head coach that there in Denver, goes down to Miami, has that complete, utter disarray of a franchise there in the Dolphins, and he comes up here for the last 2 years, and wins a Super Bowl immediately. He's a Philly guy through and through. I would hope that we can get a couple more years out of him. But if that's what his ultimate choice is, that's what his ultimate choice is. I'm not gonna beat him up over that, nor hold him over the coals for it. I just hope that they do officially make sure that he is back in the fold for this year, because that would be rough to try to have a replace him right now. And speaking of replacing, it don't look like Mr. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is going to be returning to the Chicago Bears, as he's basically saying, he's too chill for this runaround. So I seen this, and I obviously had to get your opinion on it. I know you got massive love for CJ. With the fact that Reed Blankenship is probably going to garner top 10 safety money.
Yeah.
If you can get CJ in on a 1-year, 2-year deal that is under what you would have to pay Reed Blankenship, would you like to bring him back? Or we've already had the song and dance. We've already dealt with his brand of football and let him move on to where he's going to go next.
Well, I think because what you just said, we've already dealt with his brand of football. I thought it was kind of mildly successful. I thought he played pretty well here when he was in Philadelphia. He had his moments. I don't get me wrong. But I thought
both years he was here. This past season, Jalix Hunt led the team in interceptions. I'm going to leave it there.
There you go. Yeah. So, look, I mean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I know he's been on so many teams by now, but I mean, he always seems to be productive every team he goes to, but he seems to be really productive when he's in Philadelphia. So I think especially with Reed Blankenship on watch of maybe him going, you have to consider it at least. I know he's not, he's not no Ed Reed back there, but I mean, he's pretty darn solid. And he's, I know he's a hothead, but so is A.J. Brown. And guess what? With both of them, you won a freaking Super Bowl. So you can do it. So, yeah.
Look, I got love for CJ. I do. Yeah. I'm not going to act like I don't.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why he left here twice. Once via the free agency, once via trade.
Yep. You're right. He's it's a lot of the it's personality. He's a hothead. He really is. I mean, he's just
listen, there's a way, like, that's Nick's job, man, is to deal with the personalities and find a way to get them to produce. So
yeah. And to my point, he got him to produce the 1 year. They all,
he got him to produce both years. It's just there was a mix up during the free agent year.
Yeah.
And I just felt that after the Super Bowl last year, just did too much talking on social media and all this other stuff, and just it kind of rubbed people the wrong way. And he was, he kind of outed himself in that manner. So Now, one of the next things I want to discuss, obviously, is the Hall of Fame nonsense. And T.O. is not happy with basically the Hall of Fame had a press release basically after the Bill Polian situation came out. It looked like that he had colluded with other voters to, you know, hold Bill accountable for Spygate, Deflategate, whatever.
Yeah.
And T.O. just was not happy with these. Like, well, where was this when I was kept out of the Hall of Fame for 3 years? Like, we're NFL, the NFL Hall of Fame was basically sitting there saying that if they find any validity to this type of thing, that they will remove members and get new voters in there.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. What we've seen over the pace, week plus with what's going on in the Hall of Fame is just
Let me propose. Yeah.
More proof of what I've been saying. Like, you need to change some things up when it comes to the Hall of Fame. I don't care if we're talking about the NFL, Major League Baseball, and any of these sports. You cannot allow these people who have agendas and vendettas and etc. to have this much control over it. I think that you need to reevaluate this. I do think a lot of people were clamoring for was basically putting out there who voted for who. I think that should be a no-brainer regardless.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to be held accountable for the decisions, in all aspects of life. So, I agree with T.O. that I think he has he's not just like, putting his violin out there trying to trample on it. He's got a real case there because they did. Because of the way T.O. went about his business, that they kept him out of the Hall of Fame, the third all time for just about every major wide receiver category that there is. He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's not a question in my mind. We talked about this on Inside the Eagles with your guys, man. You can't. I'm not a Bill Belichick guy. I'm not a Robert Kraft guy. I'm not a Patriots fan in any stretch of the word, but. We got two eyes and a functional brain. We all know Bill Belichick's first ballot Hall of Fame.
Correct.
So,
can I propose something to you, Steve? What if we voted on the Hall of Fame like this? Like we do a presidential election where the fans get to vote. You got to go to a website or go to like a ballot box, literally in person, and you get to vote for the Hall of Fame, and you get so many votes, so you don't get to vote unlimited or something, rig the system or nothing. You only get so many votes.
Well, we've already seen that. We've already seen how it goes wrong with Pro Bowls. We just seen Cam Jurgens get on a Pro Bowl. They had no business being there, or elected to one rather. We even with presidential elections, we've seen just people have agendas, man. I do think that you do need to have a select number of people who are eligible for it, but I think it's just like with politics. I think that every so often that voter pool needs to be refreshed and cleaned up and get new blood in there, get some of the old blood out.
What are your thoughts on the committee in college football?
No, but one of the things I did hear that would make sense to me, right? We'll get to your college football point in a second, but that did make sense to me is because of the way they changed the voting over the last few years, that coaches, executives, and the senior committee players all got bundled into one, right? And we've seen how large that senior committee finalist was this year. Roger Craig should actually be in the Hall of Fame. L.C. Greenwood was part of the Steel Curtain defense. Why are we sitting here 40 years later and this guy still isn't in the Hall of Fame? So if you could only vote for 3 of those guys, and I believe one of the voters did say that like he voted for Kenny Anderson as well. So when you had a large list of senior committee guys that are attached to the coach and the executives, I could see that being a reason why. But Bill Polian didn't say that was why. He came close to sitting there. Oh, I don't even remember if I voted for him or not, but he should be a Hall of Famer.
Well, then, if you can't remember if you voted, then you probably shouldn't vote.
And literally, Emmanuel Ocho basically said this, like he should have everything stripped from him, and he needs to move on and do something else with his life. And I like this is what I was saying. Like sometimes you do need to have fresh blood in there. You do need to rotate what it is. I think you only allow 50 voters, right? Yeah. Then that 50 should change every year. Don't sit there saying you can't be a voter multiple times over a 10-year span, but I think that it should be a continuing door of former Hall of Famers, NFL veterans who either in some way, shape, or form. I don't think current executives, former executives, I don't think anyone like that should be able to vote. I don't. I think it should be, just like in just a jury of your peers. I think it should be, to get into the Hall of Fame, a jury of your peers. We have, Ben Troop and Marvin Powell on this platform. These guys should be able to have a say because they've been on the field. They know the sacrifices these guys have to make, and they're not gonna allow petty differences or whatever to stop them. We know who the greats are. We do. And yes, it should be the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Very Good. I agree with you.
There's an Instagram page called the Hall of Pretty Good or something, or the Hall of
No, yes, there is. There is absolutely, there is a page on the X platform, and it is absolutely the I think it was like the Hall of Very Good or something like that.
There's an Eagles one called the Hall of Eagles Hell Yeah players, and they just had the induction. This is not a joke, by the way. I'm not kidding. They just had the joke a few days ago for Travis Fulgham. Travis Fulgham, remember the wide receiver during the Wentz era?
No. He shouldn't have. There shouldn't be induction of Travis Fulgham to anything.
Hell yeah, in the hell yeah.
Unless we're inducting him into, I'm going to have this erased from my memory. Man, talking about a guy that never developed to the height that he was given to. Jesus, Travis Fulgham. It's almost like
Greg Ward Jr.
JJ Arcega-Whiteside should have been inducted into something.
Oh boy,
man. And now we're on this nonsense talk. We need to investigate something, right? Someone needs to launch an investigation on how the Philadelphia Eagles had managed to hurt Chase Daniels so bad in 1 year that he continually just finds any way to bury any member, any part of this franchise in any way, shape, or form.
Jeez, what's the beef, man? What's the beef?
Who hurt you, bro? Let us know. Give us some thinking that we can wrap some reasoning around the nonsense and just BS that spews out of your mouth anytime this organization is mentioned. Chase, I need to know, brother. I need to know for my personal sanity because I'm sick of bringing your name up. Nobody quarterback in this world.
Now, I listen. You said 2016, so Chip Kelly got fired. I think 2015, so he didn't have Chip Kelly to blame, right? He wasn't here with the Chip Kelly era, right? He was here.
Yeah, he was one of the backups in I think
Peterson's first year.
First run. It was Doug Peterson's first year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that team, that era. Who would have? What happened? Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even know what to comment about it.
But we need to figure out what's going on with Chase, man. Somebody needs to.
He's salty, man. He's pissed for something.
I mean, I know you a giant, through and through at heart, Chase. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You a giant, you a chief. I get it. It.
You know what's funny? As fans, we always just assume the Eagles, for the Eagles, for example, we're all just one big brotherhood, right? But then you think about it, those 11 guys on each offense or defense, they individually are diehard fans of probably teams that aren't the Eagles. It's kind of funny how they all kind of grow up like that, but then they have to play for the Eagles. So it's funny. It's random, but yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Same thing with the referees too, which is kind of scary. They're diehard fans, they just won't say it or promote it, but they are.
Yeah. It's one of these things where you just have to look at it, nod your head, and just be like, well, all right. But as we're getting into the first half hour here, I didn't get the reading immediately, so let me get it in now. And this episode of the JNS Philly Sports Stop is brought to you by Fight Wax. Fight Wax is a skincare product, for athletes and the daily users that help treat cuts, swelling, scrapes, abrasion, rejuvenates and restores stressed skin. Customers has used for soreness, stiffness, and recovery. Designed for athletes and people an active lifestyle, provides an ultra silky, non-greasy feel, deep hydration for everyday skin care, helps fight dry skin. Customers have used for eczema, psoriasis, and other skin health disorders. They are also coming out with a fight soap for in the shower, and also have a specific thing for your pet. So if you got one of those pit bulls, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, they get red, they get irritated. This would be great for one of your animals as well. So guys, make sure you're checking them out, showing them some love. And as we get into this next segment, we got to talk about it. We're within a few days of the trade deadline, and Joel Embiid was asked about this. He's thinking about how this team can improve, right? He was asked about it. What did he thinks about it? And he's like, I just remember the last few years of us battling against the numbers to who we could or who we couldn't bring in, and that's not going to be the case this year, right? And on top of that is that we're already hearing rumors of stuff me and you were talking about a month, 2 months ago when we first started kicking this thing off, is that Giannis has Philadelphia as one of his destinations on places he wants to go, right? And WIP stupidly is sitting there saying, well, VJ Nkobe should be in some of those trade talks. Absolutely not. I agree with the Sixers front office, that Joel, Tyrese Maxey, and VJ are part of the untouchable list. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. I think I've already said it, and this is obviously before PG-13 had his issues this week, and we'll get to that in a second. But I thought Paul George, couple picks, maybe throw in a Kelly Oubre, maybe throw in a Drummond. Another one of your bench guys, Grimes, whatever.
I'll throw away everybody to get Giannis and Embiid.
Man, you need to keep some of that bench intact.
You get Giannis.
Jared McCain should also maybe involved in one of those talks, because if you bring in a Giannis, what role does a Jared McCain have? He's never going to crack that starting lineup. He's going to be a bench player, and that's not what you want to see for somebody you drafted number 1 overall. So I think. PG-13, Jared McCain, a couple picks, whether it be Kelly Oubre or Robert Drummond. I think it does get it done to get him in here,
especially because they won the championship and they have all the drama out there in Milwaukee, and they want to just kind of move on and probably just start without him. I think because it's mutual. They both don't they're booing him when he plays in Milwaukee now. Giannis is getting pissed at the crowd. I mean, it seems like it's a divorce waiting to happen.
The reason why I don't put VJ or any of the other major stars into that is because Giannis still has injury problems too, man. We know how rough it is, and I'm not gonna sacrifice everything just to bring him here. The right package that makes sense, whether you do, you give them 2 or 3 picks, you do a pick swap for one of the years or something like that. Make it make sense for everybody, and Giannis wants to be here because he trains with Maxey during the offseason. So
let me ask you a question, Steve. Would you do Giannis for Embiid straight up 1-for-1?
You asked me at the beginning of the season, I wouldn't even thought about it. But whoever it was that fixed Joel Embiid's knee, foot, leg, whatever. We need to give him a seat in the skyboxes and because what we've seen over the past few months with Joel Embiid, we're starting to see him round back into the best center in basketball. So if you're asking me right now, no, I wouldn't do it. And I've been, where I was a few months ago. I was being very, very, very hard on Joel Embiid for legitimate reasons. But looking how he's bounced back this year from the surgery, from the injuries, I'm just like with the rest of you. Every time he hits the floor, I'm holding my breath, gasping, oh God, please no. Okay, he's bouncing back up. All right, there you go, Joe. There you go, JoJo.
Yeah. But, that's how I felt every time Carson Wentz got sacked.
But Joel Embiid is he's a part of this city, whether you like him, loathe him, hate him, indifferent about him. He's a part of the fabric of this team. He we were talking about it a few weeks ago. Like, he basically said if there is any deals to be made, and that if he has to restructure his contract, give away money, what he wants to retire a Philadelphia 76er. That means something, dude. Yeah. That tells you how much he's invested, not just with this city, but the team. That the money really doesn't mean as much as it may have, when he initially signed the contract. So
yeah.
No, I wouldn't trade him straight up. I think the package I laid out for you probably gets done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully. Yeah. I mean, look, we just know something's coming because, like, they're in a window right now and they have to close on it. I mean, especially.
I think the East is wide open. And then when you look at the West, I mean, really, if you can vanquish OKC, if you can match up with them, which I think bringing a Giannis in here definitely puts you in that conversation. Who's to sit there and say we can finally shut up that the process was a success, right? We can finally put that to bed.
Yeah. The process will be gone. Yeah.
The process will be completed at that point in time. So
I guess so. Yeah. The process. Hey man, the process just is still a process. It's never ending. It seems it's always good. It's just going, man. It's been going for 10 years, I think.
So, the other side of that is the other news that came out about the Sixers this weekend. It wasn't good news. So, Paul George got hit with a 25-game suspension. He made it his announcement after the suspension came out and basically, apologize to the fans, to the city, the team, about, he was having some type of mental health disorder issues, and he took something that he probably shouldn't have took, and there were some banned substances there. It was not a PED. That we know for sure, just because of the number of games that he was suspended, right?
Yeah.
But if he really absolutely was taking something for mental health issues, and the NBA suspended him for it, who does this look worse on? I mean, granted, Paul George made a mistake. Let's be honest with that, right? Yeah. We're humans. We do make mistakes. We forget things. Sometimes when we're in one of those situations, you're not going to go, regardless of what type of job you have, you're not going to go and check and see what's on the banned substance list and see if you could take this or not. You just want to get the relief right then and there and get you in a better headspace.
Yep.
So I'm not going to beat up PG-13 too much for this, but I really do want to question the NBA. If you know what this is for, and if it really is something that is supposed to be used for his mental health, like, what are you doing, dude? Are you trying to put him right back in that place again?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what really went on here, because it does, to Charles Barkley's quote.
If you look, he says it. It sounds fishy.
Yeah, it's so vague because it's like, okay, you said it's not the PED, so it's obviously a substance that he was taking for his mental health, some type of drug or something. But it's like, what was it? Was it marijuana? Was it pills?
Was it suspended them for marijuana? That's even worse.
Yeah,
that's even worse.
Because I think that's probably leaning towards what the suspension likely was, because it sounds like it's one of the substances that when they do the test and drug test and all that, you can't have it in your system. But then it also sounds like Paul George was saying he was using it for those reasons, to help him. So it's like, it sounds like that's probably what it was. That's my guess, actually. If I had to pick one, maybe. I know you might think, I think you mentioned earlier, possibly like the pills, but nobody knows. And that's the whole point of it is we don't know.
And, especially when it comes to medical stuff in the United States, there's those HIPAA laws, man, so they can't kind of come out with it. And unless Paul George openly divulges it himself, then we may never know exactly what happened with it. So, I mean, it's one of the things that we have to kind of scratch our heads and think about. But it's gonna suck, missing him for the next 25 games. And like you said, we were just trying to talk about him potentially being involved in a trade. Does that exclude him now and make it even harder for the Sixers to potentially go after some other star? I don't know. I'm not, I don't have a crystal ball in front of me, I don't know what the exact bylaws of the NBA's trade policies are when it comes to stuff like that. So I don't know how that's going to affect it, but it definitely hurts a team that is trying to put together a run and play well into April this year. So we'll see how this all plays out over the next few months.
Yeah, man, I'll take a 2022 Phillies run with this team. I want us to make the finals and then lose or something. Like, I don't care. I want us to do something.
Listen, we make the finals. I don't care who we playing.
Well, true.
I don't care who we playing.
If they have to make the finals, I mean, we're going all out.
You have to. If you make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, win the East.
Yeah.
I don't care who we're playing. Yeah. I don't care if it's Utah. I don't care if it's OKC. I don't care if it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. I do not care who it is that you should absolutely beat them. Yeah. You have one of the best centers in basketball. You have who I think is going to be the rookie of the year in VJ Edgecombe. You have Tyrese Maxey. You have 3 stars on there. And if you add another one in the next week or two at the trade deadline, oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, there's no reason if everybody's healthy out there, including Paul George, Embiid, Maxey, and Edgecombe, why can't that team win the championship this year? Like, why can't they? Like, seriously. I'm talking, like, win it. Like, I said that. Like, why can't they win the championship this year if they're all healthy playing their best this season late in April? I mean, they could if they play their best. So there's no 2017 Warriors out there. There's no Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson.
You don't have there's no super team in the West that really strikes fear in your heart. I mean, like I said, if anything, OKC, maybe even the Nuggets, if they can get things rolling back with Jokic, we'll see how that plays out, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think as Sixers fans, we don't really take it seriously. Like, we don't feel like they're title contenders because the Sixers, something's gonna happen. Look at Paul George, 25, But it's like we should kind of feel like, well, damn, dude. I mean, they could win the title if they're just healthy and we just get to April by now and see what happens. Make a run.
Yeah, they do need to make a run. It's long overdue for our Sixers.
Yeah, they're doing these tribute games like last night or 2 nights ago for the 0-1 team. Like, how many times can we honor that 0-1 team, that Allen Iverson team? It's like, it's crazy, dude. It's like we can't keep living in the past, man.
And then AI has been in the news for the wrong reason.
Last week too. Yeah,
you hear about that?
Oh, I mean, who hasn't? Yeah, I mean, who really knows what happened? But it sounds like where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's certainly something that happened, and it's disgraceful if that's what occurred. So,
he's basically from, I don't know if it's just being spun or whatever, but I think there was logistical stuff on the back end that wasn't done properly.
Yeah.
And from what I'm understanding is the reason why I think he was so standoffish with some of it is because he had already did an event that day.
Yeah.
And I think whatever happened, I don't know if his calendar got mixed up and there was a double booking that day or something like that. But it's one of those things where it's especially rough when you have kids that are involved and kids that have terminal illnesses as well. But he's basically denying almost half of the reports that were put out. He does, the report that the parents weren't allowed in the room was more of a capacity thing, not like they didn't want you in there. But I just think there's a more to that story than it has initially came out.
Yeah.
And
well, my thing is, if Allen Iverson was coming out super happy, hey, what's up, everybody, shaking hands, taking autographs, pictures, blah blah, talking with everybody, blah blah blah. Why would anybody go write a report like that? Something had to you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, I think that it's probably along the lines of what I was saying. I think that there was multiple bookings.
Yeah,
it's either that or like he didn't know what he was supposed to be doing, and then they were just expecting X, Y, and Z from him.
Yeah,
or it's the other thing. It's he wasn't paid properly.
Yeah, and I hate to say that, but
listen,
I mean,
like
we all feel some type of way if you don't get paid. I mean, to do what you're supposed to do.
If you're promoting an event to do something
Yeah.
and you're not, and what you've asked for hasn't been taken care of,
yeah,
would you be happy to do something that you're not being compensated for, regardless of the fact that it is kids with terminal? We've seen him do how many different type of those events here in Philadelphia, and he's normally like the bubbly guy jumping around. So like there could, like I said, there's more to that. Just like we were just talking about with Paul George, there's more to that than what we're being told. I think with this case that there's more to that that's being told. I don't think that Allen would go out there and just intentionally do something like that. That's not what I've heard about him. That's not what you've heard teammates and other guys refer to him as in that aspect. This isn't the guy from 15, 20 years ago. So we'll see what comes of that. But it's it's definitely rough when obviously he's probably over the last several decades, he's arguably the most popular Sixer, in Philadelphia. So, I mean, you'd want to hope that it's not, but I always hold my venom till I know 100%. I mean, you did have a former NBA player basically said that he was there with his kids, and he didn't have anything nice to say about Allen. So you never know what it's going to be, but we'll find out over these next few weeks if it's legit. Was there other stuff going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about, or what? But I don't think Allen is untouchable or somebody you can't hold accountable for their actions, stuff like that. But we'll find out over the next few weeks if everything is what they say it was.
That we will. Yes, that we will.
And with that being said, 9 days, brother. 9 days.
Wow.
That's how close we are to this baseball season. And I'm not as excited as I would like to be.
Yeah.
But that being said, still a tough baseball team you got out there.
I mean, there's
question marks. Obviously, you retool your bullpen, which I didn't really think was too much of a problem. I think it was more of a money thing.
Yeah.
Robo retires. David Robinson retires, so that that frees up some more money there. You're gonna have to see what Justin Crawford is gonna be in the outfield this year.
Mm-hmm.
You bring in Alardo Garcia as well. You definitely an upgrade, at least in outfield.
Yep.
He does have a tendency to get a bit of the K's, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, let me ask you a question, Steve. Do you feel like because the Phillies didn't go after the big name this offseason that like there's a little less pressure on them? Because like if they get the big name, they get Bo Bichette or something, then it's like you kind of raise the expectation level a little bit more where it's like, okay, guys, you got to get it done. But now
the expectation level is what it is every year as far as this Philly team. When you're that much over the luxury tax, and you don't deliver, it didn't matter if they didn't get Bo Bichette or not. A lot of people feel like they're basically running it back with the same team. It's not the same exact team, but it's not, you didn't upgrade a lot of areas. You have question marks. Is Andrew Painter going to be healthy enough to be that fifth starter? What does Zach Wheeler look like when he gets back from his injury? So you have a lot of questions surrounding the pitching. I do feel like having Mattingly there is going to help the bats a lot more than people expect. Just because when you have that kind of caliber coach that was a high level player like Don was, being your bench coach, so he's able to kind of do a lot of things and help a lot of the guys out behind the scenes. I think that you might see a little bit better discipline out of the boys this year. So you might have not get those bait strikes. That you might be playing a little bit old time baseball, playing small ball at times, where you don't have to sit there and live and die off of the bombs. That's basically what it is. We basically lived and died off of the long ball the last few years, and I think it's a formula that's led us to disaster. If you're really asking me, but we're gonna see what it is. Obviously, I do think that the expectation is basically that it's going to be the same output right now. You're going to get this. You're going to get the because everyone feels like they're just running back with the same team. So we're going to be a first round exit again. Is kind of where the fans' expectation is. To kind of answer your question there, I do think that regardless of what the fans' expectation is, we assume that they're going to break our hearts again this season. Doesn't mean that the expectation isn't for them to contend and or win a World Series this year.
Mm-hmm.
You have Bryce Harper, you have Kyle Schwarber, all like kind of getting to the back end of their prime, so you don't know what you're going to get out of them. You bring back a JT Realmuto for the next few years, who you're going to see what little more you can squeeze out of him. And like I already said, like the bat put aside, just him running that pitching rotation is going to be way more invaluable than anything else that he does. He could very well hit 250 this year, and I really could care less.
Yeah, man. I just look. The team. I mean, they could make a run. I mean, they're so talented enough still, but it's just the problem is, man, you got a lot of competition in the division, in the conference, in the league now. I mean, you got the freaking Avengers out there in LA. I memean, so you got it's just tough, man. It's tough. It really is, man. It's just but you know what's funny is like we all sometimes when you feel like this, you get a little surprised. I remember going into the 2017, just not to change subjects, Eagles season. Nobody had the Eagles winning the Super Bowl that year, if you remember, going into the season. Nobody really thought they were going to do anything, and then they just had this magical season. So I mean, you just don't know. And I just want them to. Hey man, there's you said 9 days left. Maybe they can make a move in those 9 days.
You never know. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't rule it out, but it's one of those things where my expectation with them is where it is at right now. They have more questions than answers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And they just have to go out there and prove it, and that doesn't mean they're not capable or they won't do it. It's just I've seen what this team's done over the last handful of years, so I've kind of tempered my expectations on what I expect out of them, regardless of how I've tempered myself to not be hurt by this team, so to speak. But it's also I still you have enough money that you put out there, you have enough. Whatever that you're putting out there, that I still expect you to be more than just a team that's competing in October. We weren't blown out by the Dodgers last year, were we? No, we weren't.
No,
it was one of those things where they got hot at the right time and our bats disappeared at the wrong time. I do think that we can contend with them regardless of how much money they spent on whatever different players this offseason. I still think they can compete with that. So we'll see what happens, my friend. It's going to be an interesting spring, so to speak. We'll see what what happens when they get down there in Clearwater and start knocking the rust off, breaking through those cobwebs, and we'll see what kind of team they really are.
Ring the bell. We'll see.
Dong dong. But we don't get a chance a whole lot to kind of talk hockey, but I definitely want to bring it up. It's been a rough month and a half for the Flyers, and TK has basically had enough of it. Basically said, he's tired of pretending that he's okay with wasting games, wasting chances, wasting the season. That should matter. I don't care about any stats anymore. If we don't start winning and winning now, none of this means anything. Gotta love it from TK. Gotta love that. And
that's a leader right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like, I don't care about my stats as long as we winning. Doesn't that remind you of somebody else here that plays in this city? That's a figure. Oh yeah, that's Jalen Hurts. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. The polar opposite, AJ Brown. AJ Brown. I want my stats.
He doesn't care about his stats. He wants to win, and he wants to win now. And
that's good, man.
I don't blame TK. Like he's been he's been through a couple different iterations of this team, and he survived it, and captain for all intents and purposes. He's the leader of that team. So
Yeah.
I do hope the Flyers find a way to put it together because a month ago they're sitting pretty in the top spot for the wild card. Now it's not looking so hot. And you've had injuries at the goaltender spot, which you can't foresee or predict or work around sometimes. So we all know, like we talk about the catcher in baseball, goalie is end all be all in hockey.
Yeah, the goalie is.
Anyone who watched Dominic Hasek basically carry Buffalo Sabres teams, during the 90s and early 2000s, know exactly what I'm talking about. You don't have the backstop there, and you're in a whole world full of trouble. So,
Yeah.
we'll see what the rest of the season holds. But as we getting ready to wrap this one up here, I guess throw it over to you, Justin. Anything you want to talk about? I know you just got gifted a custom jersey from your boy, Justin Brown over there.
I actually had no idea. He was like, "I have a jersey for you." He didn't say it was a custom. He didn't say it was my name. He's like, "I have a jersey for you in a season. I have a jersey for you." I'm like, "Okay." I get there and I'm like, "What the?" Yeah. Thanks. Shout out Justin Brown and Jermaine from Icon 411. They held a comedy show last night at the Borough in Downingtown, and they gifted me this awesome custom Eagles jersey. My Instagram handle is Justin_Fiorillio 94. I was born in 94, and the jersey says Fiorillio 94, so it's pretty dope. And I can't thank him enough. I do want to say just the one last thing while we're on the platform, just 1 second. Just an rest in peace to Carl Henderson, the owner of Carl's Cards, who just unfortunately passed away unexpectedly and shockingly just a day or two ago. He was the owner of Carl's Cards in Havertown, PA, and he brought in, folks, some of the biggest names: Flyers, Phillies, Eagles, AJ Brown, Brandon Graham. I mean,
I've been there for 3 different signings: AJ Brown, Swift, and for another one. I forget which one.
There's so many. It's hard to remember sometimes. He's always bringing in the big signings and the names and whatnot, and it's just so sad. So just prayers to the family and all that, and it's rough.
I'm glad you mentioned it because I totally forgot to bring that up. Because I do remember I seen Chris Tarian say something, and a bunch of other collector guys in the area on my feed were saying stuff. So
yeah, and to all our viewers, like I know we're not all the viewers aren't in the Philly area, but everybody in Philadelphia kind of knows who Carl was and Carl's Cards and whatnot. So it hurts the community. He was really well known, I think, especially I see it now on social media.
Well loved, and he's definitely going to be missed. But as we're putting a bow on this one, guys, if you're not going to be catching us for the podcast and you are in the Philadelphia area, make sure you guys go down to the Xfinity Live Arena this weekend. As BKFC's in town. I'm definitely going to be there as a credentialed member of media. We're working on Justin also getting his. So regardless if he gets on his own or not, I already talked to my boy Chris. You're going to be there, brother. You're going to be there. You're going to cover. You're going to be a credentialed member of media one way or another, whether it be on your own or through the graces of your connections with your good friends over here. So it's definitely going to be a unique experience. As it sits right now, right this exact moment, they have already broken the combat sports record for attendance in the Xfinity Mobile Arena that they set last January. It's already been broken. There's going to be more than 20,000 fans at the Xfinity Live Arena. So, guys, there is a pre-fight press conference Thursday at 2:00 at Live down there in Packer Ave. The weigh-in show is Friday at 6, and I think it's 7. I think media's there at 6. So again, guys, make sure you guys are checking it out. There is very limited amount of tickets left if you're trying to go out there. It's going to be a wild event. There's a different type of energy for every bare knuckle show. So guys, make sure you check that out. Any last words, Justin?
Check it out and see people get knocked out. That's it.
You're definitely going to see blood fly. You're definitely going to see someone get put out. So I'll catch you guys later, guys. Peace out. Have a good one.
Go Birds.